Besties, your girl has a month left of college until I graduate. Like, I'm gonna be done with school forever, and that is so insane to me. And reflecting on these past 4 years, I have learned a lot. I have experienced a lot. Being in New York City, you really do just grow up so fast, and the college experience is so crazy here. And I do feel like going to college just really shapes who you are as a person. It kind of allows you to make your own choices more. If I could go back in time and kind of warn myself about certain things or just teach myself about a few things of what I should prepare myself for going into college, I would have loved that. So if you are someone who is going to college or going into the real world by yourself, or you're in college, whatever it is, don't worry because your online bestie's here and I got you. Before I continue with the podcast, I would just like to say thank you all so much for your continued support and listening to this right now. It really does mean a lot that you guys like to listen to my voice like this, and I really appreciate it. So if you want to continue hearing me yap like this, then if you're on Spotify, please rate and review, and if you're on YouTube, then like and subscribe. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to talk about all the things that I wish I knew before college. I go to a fashion school, just to preface, but this applies to literally any school that you go to, I think. I don't think anything that I say is very specific. I do think going to school in New York City, there are a few things that maybe you wouldn't experience going to like a state school or whatever. But overall, I think going to college, you're going to experience some crazy stuff and you're going to learn so much about yourself. I have been through so many phases, okay? Like when I first started college, when I first moved to college, I like dyed my hair. I was so edgy. I came from the Midwest and I was really naive and I just wanted to experience everything. And I did. Like literally my first semester of college, I experienced so much. Your girl experienced her first kiss. I truly am really proud of how I turned out, even though I kind of maybe have been through some bad things or made some bad choices before, but that's what growing up is all about. If you're in college or you're heading to college, congratulations, and I'm so excited for you, and it is truly something that you should just be excited about. I knew I personally had so many questions going into it, and I'm sure you guys do as well. And if you have any other questions you want, feel free to just DM me on Instagram at SharkStyle. I would be happy to help you guys even more. But let's get into it. So first, let's talk about the dorming situation, because usually first year of college, you are required to dorm, or at least that's how it was for my college experience. I do find a lot of benefits to dorming, because especially if you're going to a college and you don't know anybody, it's a great way to meet people. Freshman year especially, like I personally did not live in the dorms freshman year because it was during COVID, but from what I know from other people, that is when you make the most friends, because everybody is just trying to meet people, so everyone's hanging out with each other in the same floor as them. But let's talk about decorating your dorm, okay? Because that space is kind of your space of where you're gonna live, and the dorms are ugly, all right? I know some schools, they have pretty dorms, but for the most part, they're pretty bland and boring. My dorm at FIT was literally, it used to be a factory, okay? So it was pretty big and like tall. However, it was just one straight room. Like it literally was like a hallway. When you look outside the window, all you could see was like construction most of the time. And in my head, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna permanently live here, so I don't see the point in buying all these decorations or anything. I definitely wish I would have decorated back then, because I think it would have made me enjoy living in my dorm a lot more. I did notice when I lived in the dorms, I never wanted to be back in the room because it's just so boring and I didn't feel comfortable staying there, so I was always out. And now that I have moved to an apartment and obviously I decorate my apartment, I realize how much of a difference having like a cozy space that you enjoy seeing and looking at and being in makes a huge difference, and it makes me so much happier. It makes me do my work in my home a lot better. So definitely recommend decorating your dorm or just making it more like a home, okay? Even though you're only gonna live there for a year, it's still nice to make it feel cozy. This might be your first time moving away from home, and you need that sort of comfort in your room. I remember I decorated my dorm like the very last semester that I was there, and it made all the difference. Like, I loved being in my dorm after that. And also clean your dorm, okay? Because if you're not someone who typically cleans at home, or like if you have other people cleaning for you, or you're not really required to, you might not be used to cleaning your space as much. But I remember noticing in my dorm how dirty it would get very easily. Like, I would clean once a week, okay? But I don't know, maybe it's because it's a smaller space and you just see the buildup of, trash and stuff like that so much faster. But it got dirty easily and it was kind of gross. So make sure you clean your space because no one's going to be there to clean it for you, all right? The second thing that I would definitely recommend, which I feel like could easily be missed among college students, is making connections, okay? And I'm not just talking about making friends, and obviously you need to make friends too, but I think sometimes we go into college, we just really want to make friends, and we stick with that group of friends, like that small group that we know and are comfortable with, and just hang out with them. College is probably one of the greatest times to make connections for work, and it's the only time you will truly be in such a secluded space with people with very similar goals as you, like who want the same career as you. It's so easy to meet people and talk to people. There's clubs, and you can talk to your professors who may even have worked the job that you really like. I know at fashion school, a lot of our professors kind of teach on the side, and they have their own job outside, or they worked many years in the fashion industry and they know a lot of people. And this is a great time to ask questions and connect and hopefully get a job through the people you meet, because you're all there to hopefully after college get a job in a similar field, like especially with people in your majors and stuff like that. So many times I hear at fashion school that people will get a job after college and they will refer someone that they know from college to their job. I've also worked with my professors before. I got an internship with my professor. I met so many stylists and other creatives through my professors. I learned just a lot about the industry. I think being in the city, I've definitely been able to make my connections outside of school. However, I wish, going back to the 4 years that I was in college, that I would have made more connections within my department. Because you never know how other people can benefit your life or help you out. There's also been some stories that I know personally with my school that we do a lot of group projects, and a lot of these projects are based on teamwork and building a company or a campaign. And sometimes these groups will have a really good idea, and after they graduate, they actually make the idea come true and they start a business together, which is crazy and amazing. Like I said, college is really the only time that you will have the opportunity to get a bunch of people together and do something like that. It's kind of harder once you graduate. It's harder to meet people that way. So definitely, utilize your time in college to obviously make friends, but also intentionally make connections for work. I know other people also do a lot of coffee chats during school, where they just get coffee with someone and talk to them and hang out with them, and get their contact info. You can also get LinkedIn connections with all the people that you go to school with, which I feel like this is just something that people kind of look over very easily and don't do. And now that I'm a senior, I just really wish that I would have done that a lot more. Number 3, obviously we gotta get into partying, okay? Because, college is all about that. You may be a partier, you may not, whatever, but you probably are going to party. You're probably going to experience certain things. Maybe alcohol, maybe that's, smoking. But truly practice and party safely. I didn't really party that much or go to any parties when I was in high school. So when I got to college, I just wanted to party, and I felt kind of the pressure to just be as fun as possible because the people I was surrounding myself with, you know, they've been partying, they've been about this lifestyle for a long time that I was like, I need to catch up. And when I look back to like my party days, because I honestly don't really party that much anymore, like my senior year, I used to party a lot like my sophomore year and a little bit in my junior year. Looking back on it, I am truly so lucky. I don't really smoke or do drugs or anything in that sense, but I definitely don't think I partied safely. And if I were to go back in time, I'd literally slap myself in the face and be like, get yourself together, girl, because you literally could have died. And there have been so many times where I've just been so lucky, especially living in New York City, because obviously when you're in college and like if you go to like a state school, you're probably just like partying within the people in your school. But in New York City, you're going to like the clubs. So you're partying with random people, a lot of times older men and stuff like that, and it can get really dangerous. So just make sure you are making good decisions. Not to sound like a mom, but I am your bestie, and I just really want you all to be safe, and just making sure you are going out with people that you're comfortable with and make you feel safe and don't pressure you to do anything. I think what really saved me in my party days and what I was really lucky was that I went out with friends who made sure everyone was safe. And there's always like that one friend who was sober and was able to take care of people if needed. You know, we shared our locations with each other. We always made sure that we all went home together. Because there have been so many stories that I hear of friends getting left alone at a party because their other friends just decide to leave, which is crazy. So make sure you and your friends like establish a boundary of, okay, we all need to make sure we leave together, we go in together, we're always telling each other where we are. I know that things can get a bit wild because that's how college is. I know, I freaking lived that life. Make sure you are pacing yourself with whatever you do. You are making sure that you can still be a little bit aware. Obviously, you know, have fun, whatever. But from experience, there's just been so many things. Like, your girl really escaped death so many times because there have been just so many times where I have fully just been blacked out, fully unaware of what's going on in the city. Oh my God, one time I literally woke up at like an apartment and I had no clue whose apartment I was in. I had to look at my location to see where I was at. Obviously, like, my friends were amazing and they had my location, and like I woke up to like a bunch of texts from my friends, like basically telling me everything that happened and how I ended up where I was. I woke up once with a chipped tooth because I was running and I fell so hard on my face. And just looking back on those, like, yeah, it's kind of a funny story. However, those things easily could have just gone so wrong, you know? And I feel like that's a good reason why I don't really party like that anymore, just because I look back at that stuff and I'm like, wow, that's so dangerous. And make sure if you're trying new things, you're trying it with people that make you feel comfortable and safe. I also don't really do drugs like that, so I don't have to worry about any of that. But if you ever, not saying I am not condoning anything, but, you know, realistically, if that was to ever happen, make sure you know who you're getting it from, okay? The number one leading cause of accidental death is opioid overdose and all of that, so just putting that out there, okay? Like I said, I am not condoning anything, but I'm just being realistic. There's that party culture, the craziness. That's just such a big part of college, I feel like. Partying, hooking up. Ooh, we can get into a whole other podcast about that. Maybe if you guys want that, I will get into that as well. But yeah, just practice it safely. Obviously, you probably already know that, but I feel like in the moment we kind of forget that. So this is just your bestie reminding you. Okay, stay safe out there. The next advice from me is a bit more wholesome, and that's to learn to cook. Because for me, before college, I never really cooked. My mom, obviously, just like basically cooked for our whole family all the time, which very lucky to have. So I didn't have that skill. When I was living in the dorms, I didn't really take the time to learn how to cook either, which, looking back on it, I regret. I should have learned how to cook. I've talked about this in other podcasts before, but I didn't really eat much my first year of college, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I just like didn't cook and I just let myself starve. Obviously, there's the dining halls, which definitely utilize that, because when you live in the dorms, I'm pretty sure you're kind of required to have a dining hall plan. At least that's how it was for us. The only thing is, my dining hall was open on specific days, and sometimes it would be closed on specific times and days. So like if there's a holiday, my dining hall would be closed, so I would not have the dining hall like to access. And also at my school, the dining hall closed really early, because like sometimes I'll take night classes, so by the time I'm done with class, the dining hall is closed, so I don't have dinner. And then I don't cook, so I didn't have any food at home either. So either I just like wouldn't eat and starve myself, or I'll take out, which is very expensive, especially in New York. You will just save so much money once you learn how to cook, and it's so much healthier for you as well. So making sure you stock up your fridge, especially when it's like if you live in an area where you might get a lot of snow, because when we would have like snowstorms and stuff like that, obviously I didn't want to walk to my dining hall, because my dining hall was a 15-minute walk from me. You won't be starving, because you never know when you're gonna get hungry, you know? This might seem so simple, but you know, I feel like a lot of people can also look past this very easily, because you're just trying to get things quick and easy, whatever. You don't understand how much money I save now that I literally cook all my meals every day. Alright, besties, so this last advice is probably one of the most important things I wish I could have just reminded myself back then, but that's to surround yourself with good people. Especially if you're someone like me who is a people pleaser, you might not realize that you don't actually feel good with the people you surround yourself with. Especially when I moved to New York for college, because I came from the Midwest, okay? So I really was like wanting to be friends with people who looked very cool, which obviously everybody in New York looks super cool and like tatted up and everything. And I just wanted to be cool. I wanted to be that cool, edgy New York party girl that I see all over the internet and stuff like that, or on TV. So I would just surround myself with people who I thought seemed very cool and, you know, would make me look cool. At the end of the day, I never felt good around them, and I made bad decisions being around them, because you get influenced so easily by who you hang out with. And looking back, there were just so many things that I did that I'm not proud of and that I would never do in a million years, but I did it because I was influenced by who I was hanging out with, and that was what I was constantly seeing. I just thought, okay, this is normal, this is New York, this is what these people are doing, and I think they're cool, so I'm gonna do it. So trust your instincts. Like, if you immediately do not get good vibes from who you're hanging out with, you don't need to hang out with them anymore, okay? It is so much better to not have friends than to be friends with the wrong people, because I like to think that I am lucky enough to be super self-aware that, you know, after a semester of hanging out with people that who are not necessarily the best people to be around, I was self-aware enough to be like, okay, you know what? This isn't me. Like, the way I'm acting right now, the things I'm doing, the way I feel around these people, that is not the Char from the Midwest. And I removed myself from those people. I could have turned out to be a completely different person if I decided to stay around those people that I hung out with, okay? Could have been a really terrible person, and you probably wouldn't even be hearing these podcasts from me. Just know your morals and values and really stand your ground on those, and surround yourself with people with similar morals and values as you, because that was what I had to really learn about myself, is what are my morals and values. And I remember I literally went to therapy for that, and you know, I figured out, you know, what I really value, started placing myself with people who are similar to me. You guys are only just gonna keep motivating each other and supporting each other and helping each other grow. And you can only grow and be successful together. Friendships and relationships should not bring you down at all. And sometimes when we stick to the same friends for so long, it might get harder for us to leave those friendships. So I was lucky enough to be able to leave those friendships like right after semester and make new friends, you know. But if I were to stick with them for all 4 years of college, it probably would be a lot harder for me now to leave because I was so comfortable with them. Make sure you are surrounding yourself with people who only make you feel good and lift you up. Okay, besties? It is that time of the podcast to read your glow up stories or what you're proud of. I asked you guys to send in the things you're proud of yourself for. So this one says, I'm proud of myself for getting a new therapist that I actually feel comfortable with. I used to have to lie to my old therapist and it made me feel even worse. But now I have a therapist who I can actually talk to as if she's a friend and I don't have to lie about anything. Love you, Char. Love you too. I am so proud of you. Getting a therapist is such a scary thing because you have to be so vulnerable with them, and it is sometimes very difficult to find the right therapist for you, and you have to go through different therapists to find the right one, which is also something super hard to do. So I am very happy for you that you have been able to make that switch, because you don't want to be uncomfortable with someone that you have to be so vulnerable with and someone who's supposed to help you. So I am glad that you are enjoying this new one, and I hope nothing but the best for you in your journey with therapy. This next one from Who is Brad says, I just did 10 push-ups. I used to not be able to do any. That is amazing. I still can't do any. So that is also something that I probably should work on myself. So good for you. Next one says, not failing math and ELA. I have not heard the word ELA in so long. If you don't know, ELA is English Language Arts. In parentheses, I'm failing science though. At least you're not failing a math or English. Just keep going, okay? You got this. I'm very proud of you for pushing yourself still. You know, school can be very hard. I was not the greatest student either. I failed algebra when I was in high school and had to retake it, which made me honestly kind of embarrassed. However, you know, looking back on it, like, I should be proud, you know? Like, I still pushed, even though math was not something I was good at. Like, I still kept going and I was able to pass algebra the next year with 100%. I am proud of you for not failing. For me, for school, I just really had to figure out the best ways to study, because studying may look different for anyone. Keep going. I believe in you. Wow, besties. Can you believe that I'm graduating in a month? I literally can't believe it. I'm kind of scared because now I can't really rely on the fact that I'm a student now and tell everyone, yeah, I'm a student, I can do whatever I want. Looking back on the 4 years, I am truly proud of how I have been able to turn out and where I am right now. Honestly, I think leading up to graduation, I'm not really scared about what is going to be next for me. I kind of trust myself that I'll be okay, and like, I put myself in a really good position right now with social media, all thanks to you guys, and I really appreciate you guys supporting me, especially these few years of college, or for however long you've been watching me for. But truly, like, you're just gonna learn so much in college. You're gonna learn so much about yourself. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna do stupid things. There's gonna be a lot of challenges, but, you know, life wouldn't be interesting without challenges, and the good times wouldn't be the good times if you didn't have bad situations as well. Keep going. You got this. And your bestie is obviously always here to help you and guide you as well. Thank you all for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making this episode as well. And I will see you guys on the next Reset Sunday. Bye!